I'm absolutely rubbish at talking to women. In fact, I'm so bad that my mates said that I practically turned to a sport. And that after years of watching me try and fail, they finally decided to offer me some advice. And when I say advice, I don't mean the got round type style where you strip me down naked in front of a mirror and make me cry. It's my parents' job to do that. And according to my mates, the way you smell, that's important. And that you should wash and get rid of any BO. Which is why I'm now going to start washing it with L'Oreal, so that women know that I'm worth it. According to my mates, the types of clothes you wear, that's important. Now, I'm not very fashion conscious, and I don't have a gay best friend. I just have my dad. And he thinks that socks and sandals strike women wild with desire, when in actual fact, it makes them think special needs. And I recently discovered how important clothes were when I found out this thing called traffic light parties. If a woman wears red, she's unavailable. If she wears yellow, it's a maybe. And if she wears green, it means she's good for the go. But the problem is, with the women who wear green, they end up being disappointed, because guys come through them so quickly. And according to my mates, confidence, that's the key. And they said I struggle to talk to them because I lack the confidence. The confidence to buy some Rohypnol. Now, I've listened to my mates' advice and I've acted on it, and yet I still struggle to talk to women. Young women especially. And when I say young women, I don't mean 10-year-olds. I'm not a priest. Haven't got my badges yet. And the thing is, I want to talk to women, I really do, but I can't. I'm always limited to the awkward small talk you get in lifts and trying not to fart. Before I would actually talk to a woman, my body would make me clam up, my mouth would go dry and I'd start to sweat uncontrollably. And then when I eventually plucked up the courage to go over, she'd always go, "Oh, what's that smell?" And I'd immediately know it was me. And so I'd turn back around and follow the river of sweat back to my seat. If I were to talk to her, the smell would have gone from BO to the equivalent of me taking the smelliest shit in the world and then locking her in there. And it really doesn't help when you women stand in groups, because I can tell you now, no man's confident enough to go over and approach you by themselves. Of course, after me saying this, there's always one guy that goes, "I am," and this would be the type of guy that would tell you he's got a big dick, but failed to mention he was the pretty one in the prison showers. So, what I do when women stand in groups is not talk to them, but just to grind up against them, which they find really weird, probably because there's no music on. And this is when I found out that grinding is only really socially acceptable when music is playing. And let me just clarify this. I don't mean when any music's playing. I mean, there's nothing more embarrassing than being dragged away by police from your niece's 7th birthday party. And so, because I'm so rubbish at talking to women, I thought I'd prepare myself a few chat-up lines, you know, get the conversation started. But again, I get so nervous, I end up adding in an extra bit and ruining it. Like, you know, like, did it hurt when you fell from heaven? Because it looks like you need plastic surgery. I tried showing one girl that I was actually intelligent and rather a gentleman. Did you know that a girl can drown in an inch of water? Can I buy you a drink? Are you religious? Because you're the answer to all my prayers. I've always wanted to meet Bigfoot. If I wear a traffic light, I'll turn red every time you walk by, just so that I can stare at you a bit longer. But if I did that, I'd have no need for my binoculars. Are you from Tennessee? Because you're the only 10 I see. In fact, I shouldn't be talking to you. This could be considered grooming. Hello there, I'm a thief, and I'm here to steal your heart. Your purse, your phone, and your keys can't handle me. Is your last name Gillette because you're the best a man can get? Or more accurately, the best that I can get? I just thought I'd come over and tell you that I think you're the most prettiest girl in the world, and that if you'd let me, I'd take you back to mine and ravage you until you're fully satisfied and all your sexual fantasies have been fulfilled. Except for one, where you get to escape. Remarkably, one of those lines actually worked on one woman, but she turned me down because she doesn't go for a guy with a beard. I said, I'm only growing it, it's like the way it feels when I shave it off. What's your excuse? Yeah, I didn't get her number, unfortunately. And despite all these setbacks, I still try. Why? Because I get bored. Why, in fact, just the other day I approached these two rather attractive women, and as I walked over, they yelled stranger danger at me. how the hell did 2 6-year-olds know about stranger danger? Then they said, oh, he's looking at your tits, he's looking at your tits. And in all fairness, I mean, they were lopsided, never seen that before. Then they called me pervert. I'm like, oh, for God's sake. How'd they find out my nickname? It's a good job the police weren't there, otherwise they would have found out my other nickname, restraining order. And it's this single life that's really started to affect my social life. Because now I find myself going out to meals with my mates and their girlfriends. And always at some point during the evening, they'd have a little romantic moment. One time we were out, they decided to have a little romantic moment straight after each other. We sat at the dinner table and one by one they went, I love you, mwah. I love you, mwah. I love you, mwah. What the hell was I meant to do? I love you. One time I was out to a meal with my mate and his girlfriend, and he went to the toilet. And whilst he was gone, she looked at me as if she was going to kill me. She told me to fuck off, because apparently I was ruining their anniversary. I said, you're angry now, wait to see how angry I want to come back after the dinner. And what I always find awkward though is when you're just standing there and they're just making out. I'm so sick and tired of this. But now when they start doing it, I just bend down, start rubbing my crotch and go, that's how Daddy likes it. But at the end of the day, they get to do that because they have someone special to do that with, and that's someone special to go home with. I don't. The only person I have at home is my dad, and the only thing that makes him special is his extra chromosome. So, in order to help me understand what it's like to have a girlfriend, my mate suggested that I spend a day with him and his. Have the girlfriend experience. And the girlfriend experience starts with breakfast in bed. And he says that he does this because if he doesn't, she'll be a complete bitch all day. And quite frankly, I never noticed any difference. And so, after breakfast, you then got to go get dressed. Now, us blokes, we just put on anything just as long as it's comfy. But I found out, as soon as the bloke's got dressed, he then has to sit there and help the girl decide what she wants to wear, while she goes, does my bum look big in this? Why do you women care about this? Are you worried that if you start walking backwards, some guy's just going to go, beep, beep, beep? So after we got dressed, we then went down on there and watched some TV and snuggled up on the sofa. And I can tell you now, it's inappropriate to get an erection when snuggled up on the sofa. Because apparently, she's not my girlfriend. It was at this point in time that my mate actually decided to test me. He told me to pick a TV show that I think a couple would want to watch. And he told me specifically to bear in mind what would the women want to watch as well. Which was annoying, because it meant Babe Station was out of the question. So after a couple of hours of watching TV, we then decided to go for a walk and a meal. Now, I like going for a walk, especially through the woods, because you get to see the sun shine through the trees and you get to see all the colour. And you never actually really stop to appreciate that. That's because if you do stop to appreciate it, a bird will come along and shit right on your head. And, as I'm sure you can tell, I'm a man who likes my meals. And you're actually looking at a person who's actually been asked to leave an all-you-can-eat because apparently I wasn't leaving enough food for the other customers. If they were hungry enough, they would have got there quicker. But as it turns out, we actually decided to go into a Wetherspoons and eat. And as we walked in, the pub was just packed full of Liverpool fans watching the football, which I'm sure their wives were happy with, as it means they weren't having their black eyes topped up. What my mate and my girlfriend decided to eat in Wetherspoons was the normal eggs, chips and beans, whereas I had the curry. And the reason why I had the curry is because it doesn't agree with me. In fact, it makes my arse stink. And it's at that point, by the time I finished my curry, that my arse stunk so much, it had emptied the pub. And this is when I learned, with great power comes great responsibility. And so, in order to escape the smell, she decided we should go shopping. Now, I hate shopping. I find it about as enjoyable as dragging my balls across some nettles, right? We were there for 3 fucking hours. Right? On the second hour, she asked me if I found anything I like. I said, no, No, I haven't. I haven't found the knife to slit my wrist with yet. And then, the thing that she bought was the very first fucking thing that we looked at. And if I ever needed a reason to be gay, that was it. In fact, it probably would have been easier with a gay guy, because as soon as he saw something he liked, he'd be like, oh my god, I have to have them, pink fluffy handcuffs. He'd buy them, we'd go home, and we'd have sex. And then, at the end of the whole experience, he asked me, oh, what do you think of the girlfriend experience? What do I think? I think it can be something from one slogan. All of the pain, none of the sex! Thank you, I've been Jack Bartlett.